my children, Lord, they so, Lord, they so, my children, and I wish I had never been born. Lord, how come I'm here? Lord, how come I'm here? Lord, how come I'm here? I wish I had never been born.
We began to build this story so that people could identify, could better define themselves through their understanding of their culture, and to understand that struggle can sometimes be noble.
With a play like Harlem Renaissance, it allows us to, although we take some license with it, C.J. Walker had actually passed before the official, what we consider the official Harlem Renaissance, but it allows you to educate and entertain. I always feel that if one person says, gee, I know the name Langston Hughes. I think I'm going to go do some reading about it.
These are troubling times for our people, Langston, and we need to hear the strength and the power of your words. Speak to us, darling Langston.
It is so good to be home. My mother, God bless her sweet soul, she couldn't even read or write. All she could do was draw a letter X for her signature, and she wanted me to become much better. She always told me never to give up.
I didn't read Langston Hughes in school. I didn't know anything about Zora Neale Hurston. But once I found out about them, I began to study the era. I began to look at the same barriers, social barriers that were in place back then were still in place today. They were a little more sophisticated today, but they were the same ones.
I went down to that cotton club like Duke Ellington suggested to apply for an audition. I didn't even get the chance to sing. What? The manager laughed and said I was too dark to sing in his club.
You know what they say? The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. You just wipe those tears away and lift up your head and keep your dream alive. Ain't nobody gonna give us nothing. We got to fight to get what we want. And don't you let anybody tell you, you too dark, when people's laying out in the sun trying to get dark. My name is Mary McLeod Bethune. And I made a school for our young colored girls, and now it's a college. And I started off with $1.50 and a whole lot of faith. Without faith, nothing is possible. With faith, nothing is impossible.
You can never get to a good place by yourself. I could not take credit for this production in all of its shapes and forms because there have been so many people involved, people that are not on the stage that made small contributions, big prayers to get us to where we are today, which is one of the best, I think, or one of the better community-based theater companies in the city of Boston.
I've always managed to keep the dream up front. You see, being colored in this country ain't no easy job. You got that right. But I said if I'm going to be a famous musician one day, I'm going to have to make my stand. I'm going to have to work at it.
Reverend Dr. Johnson brought Satchmo to us. This was something that he had actually done in his church. And we have a number of members from Grant AME Church who are in our cast, and they mentioned it. A number of us had seen him perform it, and it was like, this is wonderful. He's already created this character, and we managed to incorporate that into the play.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
C.J. Walker had actually passed before the official Harlem Renaissance.
I ain't no washerwoman, but I got to do what I got to do.
C.J. Walker was born in 1867 on the same plantation that her parents had been enslaved. And she picked cotton. She was a laundress to make her way in the world.
I scrub them white folks' dirty clothes and colored folks too. My fingers would hurt, but I keeps on scrubbing. My hands swell up, and that old cold water and lot soap, but I keeps on scrubbing. My knuckles would bleed sometimes, raw, I tell you, but I keeps on scrubbing. You see, there ain't that many jobs for us colored peoples around here, so I've been making a plan, and I've learned how to use their power. So my plan is to get rich. But I ain't never heard of nobody who worked and got rich. But you got to have a plan. So my plan is to take that straightening comb that white folks use to straighten the curls out of their head and get our colored women to use it on their neck and head. I plan to use it on my own head.
She eventually came up with her own formula for hair care and became a millionaire. We're talking about the early 1900s when she was able to do this. She also understood the responsibility of being someone of means. She created schools. She had classes. It's believed that her conventions were the first conventions of that type, of bringing people together to talk about products and to send out her agents to sell these products. And she also had a great investment in social consciousness, social injustice. Miss Evelyn is a fictional character. In their first meeting, C.J. Walker is talking to her, and she looks at her and she's talking about the straightening comb and how she has used her products along with the straightening comb to convince African American men and women to use them and to look better and feel better about themselves. Whereas Miss Evelyn says, well, she doesn't need a straightening comb.
And just to answer the question about my hair, Miss Walker, I don't need no straightening comb. I's doing the natural thing. And besides, God didn't intend for me to have straight hair because it doesn't go with my beautiful black skin.
Oh my, I have some very fine bleaching cream that will make you lighter if you like it.
Like I said, I'm not trying to get that fake look. I'm happy just the way I is. And I've been black too long to try to be white. And I'm living a good life. And I plans on making it better.
There we go.
C.J. Walker doesn't push beyond that point. She moves on. But it's a very important point in the play, I think, because it talks about, it's still a conversation that we have as Black women, African American women, women of color, that we have with, is it natural versus, or nature versus process? And is one better or worse than the other? Are you trying to be something else when you alter your appearance? And I think it's very important that even though it's a very short scene, it speaks to two conversations that we're still having in our communities.
Listen to this, y'all.
See, first you have to learn who you are. We can't overcome the barriers that are in place.
Singing with the sword in my hand, Lord. Singing with the sword in my hand.
Even though they say no, sometimes no can be a fuel, the impetus to keep you going. So that's what we've been doing. We've just been going and going and going.
I think it would be very appropriate if we sing a stanza of Lift Every Voice and Sing Now in celebration of Langston's return.
That would be a great idea.
I'll start it off, and then we'll all join in.
A guy asked me, he says, well, how do you feel, when you see the people on the stage performing? And I said, how do I feel? I said, well, I had an idea, and I wrote it on a piece of paper, and I gave it to some people, and they read it, and they got on the stage, and they performed it, and the people that was watching them on the stage reacted. So I feel humbled by this entire experience in my life.